Well, folks, we are back for more Stationeers, and like 2 hours before I started recording, they dropped a big update. Lots of bug fixes in there, but one major change. Our new friend right here. This is nitrice. Nitrogen ice. So, hopefully, obtaining nitrogen will become much easier. The sun's coming up now, so probably won't see much out of that. And we don't really need to grab it right now. But I did want to come and see if I could find some. Generally speaking, if a chunk has already been generated in your save game, this won't appear. But I went out pretty good distance from the base. And speaking of the base, well, we've got some issues to deal with. But on the way back, we can talk about this this new update. This nitrogen is, of course, as we've used it in the workshop Atmo mix, it's a buffer so that we're not using pure oxygen. And the reason for that is because fire and oxygen and CO2 toxicity are both going to be a major component coming soon. That means that pure O2 atmospheres will definitely be dangerous, not just theoretically dangerous. Honestly, it looks like this nitrogen ice has actually generated in chunks that I have definitely explored before. Not sure what to make of that. There's some more cobalt too. So, in the future, if you're not currently using some sort of a mix that's a little safer, or if you're running pure O2, you're going to want to future-proof your mixes. So, as for today, we have things we need to deal with. First, this system is working pretty good. The control code for the advanced furnace on this chip works quite well, except there are a couple of edge cases where it's really slow. One example, let me grab this. We're gonna need that probably. One example is a case where you have a high temperature setting and you need to increase your temperature, but your pressure is high. That can cause a lot of delay, where it takes it a long time to bleed off pressure, and when you get down to the target pressure, you're still far below your target temperature. So then we have to add hot, but you're almost at pressure, so you can only add a little bit, and then it has to bleed down again, and add a little bit, and bleed down again. One thing I've done to alleviate that is I'm changing the upper pressure or upper temperature limit on the hot side of the supply. The reason for that is so that we've got more heat to work with, so we can get to target pressures faster, target temperatures faster. I did some experimenting with when it's in a scenario where it's over pressure and under temperature, it would vent, and then I had a sleep command in the code to cause it to delay so that it would vent more. That helped at first, but then it seemed to make things even worse. So for now, I'm just going to change the supply side code to make sure that we get this up. I had a pinned comment on the last video about this and suggested going up to 2000 Celsius or Kelvin for the max temp. I'm actually going to increase it to 2200. So let's go ahead and do that now. Well, this is the proper code. I may have already made the change. No, there we go. And we're going to save that into that. Now, I'm not going to update the code on the workshop, but if you use that code, be sure to go in and adjust this max temp variable up to 2200. Now, that won't immediately do anything because it's currently at the 20 megapascals minimum pressure. So, but the next time it starts refilling the hot side, it will allow that temperature to go up. Now, as for this, I'm going to keep thinking about it. I don't know what changes I might make in the future, but I'll be sure to let you know if I do change it. It's certainly not ideal, that's for sure. Currently, we're sitting at what we had set for, which is Inconel, yeah. And we can get to that temperature pretty easily because it's a low temperature, pretty high pressure. My initial problem with the code was the stellite temperature. Our max temperature in the tank was 1800 Kelvin, and that's the minimum temperature for this, so it would have to really push to get there. So with it at 2200 Kelvin in the hot side tank, we've got a little more heat to play with. I can demonstrate the issue with how slow this is, though. Let's set it to 1850. That'll get us just above the 1800 we need. I think 15 megs will do. Double check that. Yeah, that's right in the middle. We can see we're 700 degrees below, but only a megapascal below. So it slowly approaches that, goes over, leads it down about 1.5 megapascals, adds more heat, but it's still very slowly increasing. We're only up to 1300 Kelvin now. So this can take a while. Stellite is kind of particular. It does have a high temperature and don't usually need a lot of it. And once we get it to that temperature, it should be fairly easy to keep it close enough to where we could make big batches. However, this is not ideal. So as I said, I'm going to keep thinking about the code we've got to control the furnace. And if I come up with a better idea to do this, you know, I don't want to just copy someone else's code that I know works good. This is passable. It's going to get us there. Now we're still only at 1681 Kelvin. And it slowly approaches the target pressure, and as it bumps over, it bleeds off quite a bit and lets it get another burst of heat, but still, it's slow. We're getting close now. 1780. Another thing that I'm going to change, and I may have already changed it. Let me check. Let's let this finish. All right, we're above target. Bouncing a little bit. That's fairly precise on the temperature side there. We're 5 degrees off when it finally decides it's close enough. So I want to go into the furnace control. Another thing I have changed is I want to get within 25. If we're less than 25 degrees off temperature, that should be okay. There's one super alloy that's got a 50 degree range, something like that. We'll look at it in a second. And we're going to save that back here. And again, I haven't updated the workshop version of this because I can't easily do that. I think I could probably delete it and re-upload it, but I don't have a lot of experience with messing with workshop stuff, so I'm just going to let it go. If you want to make this change, you don't have to, but giving it a little more wiggle room, 25 degrees instead of 10, still gets you close enough to make what you need, and it's a little less likely to overshoot and bounce as much. So we are at Stellite. Hastelloy is the one that has a 50 degree, between 950 Kelvin and 1000 Kelvin. We can hit that level of precision. We can try it now. In fact, we'll set it to 975. Yeah. There we go. It has settled in at 960. We're off by, what, 15 degrees? And well within the range between 950 and 1000. So that's pretty good. So off camera, I did do a couple of things. I've got some parts ready for our coming build. We're going to expand the solar array. I also leveled off the build area there. You may notice that my suit and helmet are somewhat damaged. That's something worth noting, I think, because what happened is I'm using these nifty mining glasses, and let me tell you, this really makes going out and finding stuff a lot easier. However, because you're seeing ores that are fairly deep underground, that means you're doing a lot of tunneling, and tunneling in voxel terrain is a little bit dangerous in a spacesuit. So I had an incident where I was underground in a tunnel. I tried to jump up to a higher level instead of using my jetpack. Bumped into something, damaged my suit. And of course, I'm not in the habit of carrying duct tape with me because I need that inventory space. So I had to book it back to the base and patch things up. But another thing we're going to do today is we're going to fix that issue as well, or at least mitigate it somewhat. But first, another thing I did too off camera was I made quite a bit of copper because I needed that for the solar panel expansion up here, and also some gold. But made a stack. We're gonna need that. Some of the super alloys have steel as one of their reagents, so we're gonna make up some steel. And for now, I'm gonna put this stacker, and we'll stick it right here. And the reason that we need the stacker, of course, is because uh, we can split ores, but we can't split ingots, and we can't make steel in less than 200 gram chunks. So we need this to split that down into smaller bits. Let's go ahead and start with that. I think most of the steel stuff is in here. Should be able to do steel there, isn't it? 900 Kelvin's the minimum on steel, and it doesn't care about pressure so much. Okay, let's give it some time to digest.
Hydration critical.
I'm missing one. I lost one of my coal. Oh, there it is. Now that should get us a big chunk of steel. All right. Okay. We'll go have us a sip and we'll come back and make some super alloys. So that little trip to the workshop reminded me that another thing they changed in this new update was airlock control boards are now a little more responsive, and the airlocks themselves cycle a little bit faster, so that's good news too. There was a noticeable difference. Alright, so we've got our stuff. I think we're going to make a double batch of each super alloy. I believe I have all of the things I need for that. Start with Astroloy. Need, we'll call it 1235 megapascal. It's coming along. Another thing during some of my testing, by the way, is sometimes this set of panels or other places lose their connections or lose power. We have a problem in this building where we're pulling too much power. And when the power recovers, sometimes we get a burnt wire. Yeah, looks like we're where we need to be. Alright, we need copper, cobalt, steel. We're going to do 50 copper, 50 cobalt. That means we need 100 steel. Well, we've already got 100 right here. Handy. Our temperature may bounce around a little bit because we're adding materials. There we go. Astroloy. Unfortunately, the super alloys, we're only getting, in this case, it's a double batch, so we're getting 50 grams of Astroloy. We're not getting 200 grams like we would with smelting, say, steel. We're still bouncing a bit. Still, we're close enough. We could just go ahead and drop it. And there's our Astroloy. Next up, we'll go for that Hastelloy, which is Hastelloy. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Oh, 975 and 27 megapascal. So now we have a scenario where we have to cool down, but we're really close to target pressure. Dump some gas. Dump a little more. There we go. Oh, nope, we overshoot. Let's see how badly we bounce here. Oh, okay. Never mind. We're stable. Alright, we need 100 silver, 50 nickel, 50 cobalt. Okay, now we process. Let's see what we get. Well, that'll do. Alright, let's move on. We've made Inconel before, but we're going to make another double batch of that. So we're going to set this to, well, let's see, 23.5, 24. We could just vent this down a little bit. We've got a wide temperature range. We don't have to give up the heat. Look at that. That's quick and easy. So we need 100 gold. Steel and nickel. 50 steel, 50 nickel. Easy peasy. Stellite. Now, this one's our hot one. We're gonna go for 15 megapascals and 1850 Kelvin. This could take us a while. But we do see our hot side temperature is increased by, well, it's up to about 2200 Kelvin now. And we're not pushing to 2000 Kelvin, we're only going to the 1850. We go over, it bleeds off about a megapascal and a half. I don't think it's particularly inefficient, but it's not particularly fast. I know in my experimenting with adding sleep commands to the vent process so it would vent longer, that seemed to add a lot of bouncing eventually. It was really hard to fine tune. I think we're getting real close here. Oh, now see, we just lost 300 Kelvin. It overshot the temperature and it hit it with some of the cold. What's going on here? That's odd. It's not adding anything to it. Let's try that, see if we can get it to. Well, this is a new wrinkle. Let's vent it down some. Okay, now it's moving again. Bring the pressure back up. It's hovering around the right temperature and stabilized. That was odd. I wonder what caused it to hang up. Yeah, definitely gonna have to revisit that code. Alright, so for now, we need 50 silver, 50 cobalt. And 100 silicon. Oh, there it is. Oh, I had it somewhere. Now we're bouncing again. Hopefully it will stabilize fairly quickly. There we go. And Stellite. Nice. Now Waspaloy. This one makes me twitch. That's a really high pressure. We're gonna go for 500 Kelvin. Yeah. go. Let's see if we blow up. Okay. We're actually over temperature, but while it's bouncing, we'll add our ingredient. 50 silver, 50 nickel. 100 lead. Still bouncing a bit. And it's stable enough. And we'll set those temperatures and pressures to something a little more manageable. And that's got all of our super alloys. Let's go ahead and pack up all this steel. If we have any leftovers. Some gold. Let's go ahead and put all these through the arc furnace. Actually, this is probably faster. I'd say that's quite a bit faster. Let's go put these away. Looks like it's done. Okay, so let's cut off some of this power usage stuff here. That's off. Because we really got to get this power situation under control. Oh yeah, that's not good. For now, we're just gonna stick all of this in the autolathe. Another thing in this new update, the autolathe and microwave now produce heat and can be a potential source of ignition. So if you're prone to baking your potatoes in a flammable atmosphere, I would recommend against that. Also, they've made some changes to the suit voice. It's a little more artificial sounding. It's a slight improvement. I still can't say that I'm a fan. This is going to be pretty straightforward. So we're doubling our production here, which is only going to solve part of the problem, but it will help. We're just going to do another 30 solar panels, so we're just going to expand this out this way. Okay, that is everything except for the final two connections. Let's try our data and see if it looks right. That's pretty cool. I like it. We're not gonna see any solar power generation until the sun comes up. Let's go ahead and tie it in though. All right. That doubles our production. Unfortunately, it's not going to do a whole lot for our storage. These are going to be more likely to be filled up by the end of the day. But our usage is such that even if they're all full, we may be using too much. We're already seeing brownouts, so I'm hoping that that hasn't caused the issue I was talking about earlier. And this all seems to be working. We'll see. This building, I think we're going to have to divide our inputs behind multiple inputs instead of just the one. So that's taken care of. Let's go in here and enjoy the fruits of our labor for a minute.
Hydration critical.
There's the new suit voice. Sounds better, but I'm not sure what I think about it yet. Really excited about these new changes that are coming. I'm pretty sure they're not going to change the thermodynamics of the game. So as it stands right now, you have in the real world, if you have a gas under pressure and you transfer it to a lower pressure area, you have the same amount of gas, but its temperature decreases as the pressure goes down. In this, we see with our cold tank, when we were setting that up, it would put hot gas in, the radiators would cool it, the pressure would drop, but it doesn't work the other way. So adding pressure does not increase temperature in Stationeers, which it would in reality. That's the principle that things like this air conditioner that's keeping me from dying of heat stroke right now works on that principle. Pressure changes shedding or absorbing heat. So that would add some interesting aspects to the game, but it would also really complicate a lot of things. I don't know. I kind of hope they do it though, because for me, one of the appeals of this game is it's very, I don't know, I don't want to say scientifically accurate, but it's more scientifically accurate than most stuff out there. So, sun's coming up. Battery should start taking on a charge. Yeah, there we go. Seeing some lights. I think it's safe to turn these on now. Let's put some stuff away. And let's start thinking about what we want to do. There's two more things I'd like to do immediately. First, I want to make a couple of these nuclear size batteries. So for that, we need steel, Inconel, Astroloy. That's a lot of ingots. We're going to build up a couple of those. Also want to look at better filters for the suit. Heavy CO2 filter. Steel Invar Stellite. There's one better. There's my Invar. Go ahead and get those building. That's enough of that, I think. I believe we're going to phase out these small batteries. Store those up there for now. Let's try and conserve a little bit of power. We stare at it, it goes faster. Alright, that's 4 of those. Another thing we want to do is we're going to phase out these standard canisters. We're going to upgrade to smart canisters, which are much safer. However, in the interest of safety, we're also going to completely do away with these old canisters eventually, so that we can't accidentally explode one by refilling the wrong thing. Copper, steel, silicon. Go ahead and make 3 for now. Ooh, calm down now. That's interesting. All right. And last, it is time to upgrade to the hard suit. We need Stellite and Astroloy and steel. Waspaloy. We're going to make the jetpack, not the backpack, because the backpack is just storage. Okay. We'll clean all this up later. Look at that. One more important bit. Ooh, okay. All right. Most important bit. Hmm. There we go. Take all this in and get it set up.
Power low.
Okay. Boom. Okay. Give that a moment to charge those tanks and that battery, which I believe the suit storage will charge the suit battery faster than the battery charger, which is nice. Oh, and those are smart canisters. That'll double our oxygen and propellant capacity, which is nice. Let's see if we're close enough.
Power critical.
Oh, still toting my maters around.
Jetpack critical. Waste tank critical. Air tank critical. Filter low. Filter critical.
All right.
Power low.
Not quite where we want it, but it'll do for now. These all have a date with the recycler. Let's see. There it is. Like a boss. All right. Let's head out, recycle this stuff. We've only got 36% on this battery, but I suspect that's better than full on a large battery. And all these gases should be reclaimed when they go into the recycler. Should have quite a bit of stuff coming through. And best of all, the hardsuit jetpack is a baller. Much better jetpack. So I'd say that's a big improvement. We're going to make some better filters for these too. Some of these are in pretty bad shape. Almost out of those. Also, let's see if I did it in this save. Yeah, got our cooling loop on, so we can vent this down. So there's a lot of stuff in there we want to go ahead and retrieve. Yeah, so we'll vent the waste tank down and have some more stuff to filter out. I think our smelting has driven the temperature up to where it needs to cool again before it can feed more in here. But our software is working and it did keep it at a safe temperature when we started adding heat back into the waste. All right, so I think that's probably where we'll call it for now. If anybody has ideas or suggestions on a better way to handle this furnace control code, I'm open to ideas. I'll have to think on it some more. I think we can make it a lot better. I know we can make it a lot better. But again, I don't want to just copy, say, Cows Are Evil, who's absolutely spot on. His code is perfect. But, you know, I want to do it myself, right? I want to explore and learn and do things on my own. So, you know. But for now, this stuff's working. I think another project we're going to do is maybe some bigger batteries and maybe rethink the way we do power distribution, especially in this building. Because I know that there are potentials for spikes to burn cables because it's happened twice in some of my preparation for this episode. But, yeah, I think we've made some good progress here. We've got us a nifty new spacesuit. We've got us some cool super alloys. Doubled our power production. And yeah. Went pretty well. So, love to hear from you folks. If you have suggestions or comments or questions, please drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, y'all.